Hello and welcome to Profiles in Risk. This is your host, Tony Cañas, switching to my radio voice. Today I have with me Elan Nyer, CEO and co-founder at Ownli. That's Ownli. Elan, thank you for joining me today. How's it going?
It's going well. Thanks for having me here today, Tony. Happy to be here.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And Ownli is one of the many Israeli insurtechs now also focusing in the US. Uh, so are you currently in Israel or are you currently in New York?
Yeah. So physically, I'm calling from right outside Tel Aviv, but we only operate in the US. Um, and we're based there, and I split my time between New York and here.
Okay, so smart of you heading down there in January when the US is frozen. Uh,
That's right. We get to take advantage. Don't have to spend any more New York winters.
yes, that's the smarter way to do it. So we always give the guest a chance to give the elevator pitch. What is Ownli?
That's a great question. Well, we're a platform where we help businesses with a focus on P&C insurers in the insurance industry better engage with their policyholders and also their prospects to increase that engagement and also reduce premium leakage. Now, that's something that everyone says and is a recurring theme, but I think what makes us unique is the way we go about it. And the way that we go about it is we empower individuals to capture and control their data and transparently share it with the businesses, right? So insurers can go directly to their customers instead of purchasing it, from some third-party database. Well, we're not going to replace that, but allow them to go directly to their customers, make them the hero of the story, and say, "Hey, Tony, we really care about you. We need to personalize your policy, and we would love to know A, B, and C about you that can really help us. And by the way, that's your data and that's valuable, and we want to subscribe to that directly from you through this independent platform." And as an individual, right? We've all heard data is the new oil, data is valuable. When's the last time you got paid for your data, right? So it's a really refreshing approach that we see just increases adoption tremendously, and people are really shocked and say, "Whoa, I just got paid for my data. What else can I share with my insurers?" Right? So using this type of approach really opens up the doors for better engagement, capturing new types of information that you want to from your policyholders that doesn't exist, and just ultimately creating a more human connection. So, right, lots of tailwind effects from that, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
Hey, very, very interesting. So we've had 600 plus interviews on the podcast, and I don't think anybody has used the phrase "when was the last time you got paid for your data?" So uh, the the idea of the client owns the data, I agree. Uh, and we tend to first we used to ask way too many questions at the application level, right? And in a painful way. Then during the insurtech revolution, we the what became fashionable is as little, like your name and address, and we can pull from 1,000 databases to find the rest of the info. But you're correct, that doesn't grow the relationship. Also, how do we verify the veracity of that data? So you're talking about some really interesting stuff. And then personally, I do think that I do like the idea of I own my data, and I should be rewarded in one way or another when I allow a company to use it, right? But nobody in insurance is doing this. I don't think, at least not here in the U.S. So so yes, tell me more. So let's start with what does it look like? So if I'm a PNC carrier, what kind of data can I use you guys to get? Uh, and why is it a better approach?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, you touched on a lot of points there. First of all, let's jump into pre-fill, right? So that's a really important trend. And that's super important, right? We've all been trained as consumers, right? One-click checkout, right? And you're expecting these type of experiences, and then you go to get a policy, and you're sitting there for 15 minutes, and you don't know when it's ending, and people drop off the funnel all the time, right? So pre-fill, insurers want to do the right things, right? So they want to help people. If you're interested in a policy, let's help you get to the finish line, and that's excellent. And those are great services and technologies, and they should continue to be used. However, there's many cases where whether it's not necessarily at the new policy, but when someone's with you and maybe they stick around because you've done a good job and you've retained them for 8 years, and your agents have not checked in with them for 8 years, right? So you have no clue what's going on, and there's things have changed where their teenagers now have driver's license, right? So there's a lot of things that can be missed. It's opportunities to make sure that they have proper coverage, so it's better for them as well. Um, and just to make sure that it's a better around experience for everyone, right? So we focus on data points, right? We're not going to replace pre-fill solutions, and that's not where we play. Where we play is what are data points? Imagine like in the old times, you're sitting across from your agent. He's writing insurance a policy for you, and you can capture all this information directly from this potential customer, or someone came in for an annual check-in. What are the type of things that just don't exist in other from pre-fill solutions, or you can't even buy it if you want to? You need that engagement from the policyholder, and we could jump into some of those. There's other scenarios where there's data out there, but you know it's stale, right? It could be a few years old, and you want an update. There's other ones where you can get information, but you don't fully trust it. Like, you know, there are errors there, especially when it comes to training models. You want to make sure you have good quality data, right? So now that's even more important with LLMs and whatnot. And then a newer trend that we're seeing, the fourth one, is there's also, we've heard from some insurers, this, we can get this data, but we're not comfortable with how it's sourced, right? We rather go directly to the policyholder because, we just want to, if we can use it as an engagement point and get it straight from them, kill two birds with one stone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yes, once the policy's been on the books for a while, chances are the quality of our data has degraded, right? Chances are things have changed, and the way insurance works, we don't talk to them every week. So and there's some things that are somewhat predictable, a kid turning 16 and being able to drive. There's many things that are not. Okay, so yes, if we can start the communication to get that data in a way that is perceived as a positive, right? My fear is that often that email or letter from the insurance company asking for my updated mileage, or whatever, right? Asking for an update on things that could affect my policy. My fear is that as a consumer, that it's only going to be used to charge me a higher premium, right? How do we psychologically help the client be happy to provide us with the data, make it a positive experience? It sounds like that's what you guys are really good at. So
Yeah. So yeah, the messaging to individuals is very much, this is your data and you own it. That's our mission, right? Empower individuals. And we work with auto and homeowner insurers to bring this to fruition. Right? So your data is valuable, and we can buy it from a third party, or we can't, but we want to buy it from you, right? So there's that immediate feedback loop. It's not like a discount that you'll get 8 months down the road at renewal or something like that. There's that immediate positive feedback loop that encourages the person to want to share that information, right? So, and what's important about that is, one of the reasons that we started this is, I've been working with insurers. I started off in automotive tech, and then in another company where we had connected dash cameras and did ethanol solutions. There's constant friction between insurers and policyholders, but the more up to date and personalized the policy is, the better it is for everyone, right? My grandparents, had an alarm system that they told their agent 20 years ago that they had an alarm system. It hasn't been on for a while, and it wasn't covered because they didn't know they had to use it, and they forgot about it 8 years before the claim happened, and it was just a bad experience for everyone, right? So a really good use case that we have as well is trailing docs or seeing that the behavior happens, right? Think about premium leakage. Everyone checks those boxes. I'm a good student. I did defensive driving course. And then your agents or in-house, you have to go and follow that up. Or you could just say, hey, you told us about this using this independent platform. Let's verify and capture this information from you. And, we'll reward you for doing that.
Okay, and when you say we'll reward you, we'll pay you for the updated data, are we talking uh airline miles? Are we talking discounts, or like what is the reward to the customer?
So that's one of the unique things about our platform. It's the partners, they choose what they want to buy and at what frequency, right? So you mentioned mileage, right? Someone might want to use it for powering their low mileage bonus, and they'll say we want a mileage check-in every month because that can allow us to have a low mileage program instead of annually, or we got a hit 3 years ago and we're just going to lock you into that forever, even though your habits might have changed post-COVID. So it's actually dollars and cents. So they say, we'll want a mileage check-in from you, and we'll pay you $2 a month for that mileage check-in when you do it. It's fully optional, or $3, whatever it is, that they can actually essentially just purchase data instead of going to Lexus or TransUnion for these specific data points or whoever it is. They could just subscribe to it directly from the owners and individuals.
Okay, so actual paid. Okay. How did you I want to go to the story, but first I'm curious. What kind of response? You guys been around for a good, looks like 4.5 years on your LinkedIn, and I know that it started on the B2C side, which we'll talk about. But what is the what kind of reception are you seeing in the P&C insurance space? It's such a different way to do it.
It's definitely a different approach. But the partners that are using it are seeing more engaged users, activation, retention, and they're learning more about their policyholders, right? Some partners don't even use mileage in their pricing because their hit rates are so low or it's not there. And all of a sudden, right? I believe you come from underwriting at some point in your career,
Yeah.
right? So then, one of our favorite things is to go to underwriters and say to them, what do you wish you can capture and at what frequency? Assuming that you have a willing participant on the other end and will verify it, right? So we make sure you can trust it and you don't just take it and throw it away, but you can really utilize it.
Okay. How did you realize that this was a need for the insurance world?
And there's a tremendous amount of friction between insurers and individuals, right? It's usually pretty low NPS scores, right? When you have Nike or Adidas saying, "Hey, turn on our app, and we'll give you bonuses or coupons," people don't think twice about it. Oh, that's cool. There's gamification, whatnot. When your insurer tells you, "Hey, join our telematics program," people inherently like, I don't want to share information. What's going on? What's happening there? And we realized if we can, insurers, like you mentioned, pre-filled, they want to help customers. Insurers want to do the right thing. And the more we can personalize policies by capturing information about you specifically and not just these aggregate variables that sometimes, you're dealing with too large a common denominator that it's not so much about like you and who you are. So if we can help them to get this information, and we can do it with insurers, right, where we know there's that inherent friction, then this could be done across the board. And again, we have insurers that are using it, and even for survey responses saying, hey, your time is valuable and your information, and 300% plus increases in response rates. Just by framing it about your time, your data, you are valuable and we care about you as an individual. And that's why we're using this platform to engage with you.
That's the success metrics from the website are impressive. Good for you, good for them. 74% more likely to renew. 81% would share more certified data with their insurer. 88% would switch their insurance to participate. And I love this 300 times more likely, 300x increase in response rates. That is fantastic. Um, for now, is it mostly being used in auto, or is it being used for other types of information also?
It's used for personal lines, auto and home primarily. We're starting to dabble a bit in commercial lines, small commercial as well. There's a huge tail end of small commercial that essentially acts like personal lines, but they're technically tagged as commercial. Um, so it's primarily in P&C, home and auto right now.
Yeah, and small commercial, that makes a ton of sense, because number one, it's generally sold through the agency space, and the agents don't get paid a lot because the premiums are low. So the agents don't know those risks as larger commercial, and it's hard to predict. If I have a few million bucks of, well, let's say a large book of small commercial, it's hard to predict which ones have significant changes, because I don't know them as well as I know my large clients, right? Um, and who knows which one has had a bunch of growth, and we really haven't sat down to talk about it, right? And renewal is just kind of processing. Uh, it's not getting audited because it's so small. So I think that it makes a lot of sense on that side. Um,
It's definitely interesting. I mean, we're getting some pull there, but it acts like personal lines, right? Larger fleets, they're going to have their commercial telematics and their two-way cameras and a fleet manager making sure there's no drowsy drivers or something like that, and that's great, and they should do that, right? But your tail end, which can be a significant part of the book of a laundromat, right? And there's two or three cars on the policy, or your plumbers, right? They kind of fall through the cracks. And, this is where a nice, elegant solution can really fill in all those gaps.
okay. What is the implementation like? Is it able to uh, fully plug into my policy management system? Does it need to?
Yeah. So implementation, it's all powered by APIs and SDKs. So smaller insurers, if we think about how end users or policyholders interact with it, so we have our own apps. We provide semi-white labeled experiences for partners, but any insurer that has their own app, we have SDKs, and we highly encourage that, right? And that's actually we're starting to see some real good momentum there, right? Because a lot of insurers have apps, and when we hear from them, whenever someone's interacting with it, it's a negative experience. They're filing a claim or they're paying a bill, right? There's not much. You got pulled over and you need to show your proof of insurance. There's not much else to do in these apps, right? So unlocking this ability for positive recurring engagement inside of their apps, we're seeing as a really good solution for insurers that already have an app of their own. And if not, we can provide a semi-white labeled experience using our apps. But anyone that has an app, automatic gamification, rewards, surveys, capturing all this information. We verify it, so we'll capture it. We have AI models to verify that it's legitimate. If there's any issues, we have um, we have human in the loop, so we'll have representatives reach out to them on behalf of the partners that we work with, and they're only receiving information that's been verified.
Okay. Um, what's the pricing like? Is it per insured, or per each time that we have you reach out, or what's the pricing like?
Yeah, so just like it's a unique business and approach, it's a unique model as well. So most of the money is actually insurers just buying data from their customers. So we have a basic platform fee monthly to cover our customer support and the transactions and whatnot. And insurers pay for what they get. So they buy the data, that money goes to their customers, and we act like a credit card. So we just take a small commission off payments. So we're fully aligned with our insurance partners to want to get as many people on board and retain them for as long as possible. So really aligns us with our insurance partners.
Fantastic. We're recording end of January 2025. Are what's coming to the development pipeline? Is there anything that's coming in, later in 2025 that you can already talk about, that you're excited about?
Um, yeah, I mean, there's lots of, we're constantly adding new data points, right? So whenever we're working with new partners and we'll get the request, that's just as long as it's not a one-off and we see that it's something that other partners want as well, then we're always happy to add additional data points, right? That either we verify on our own if it's self-captured, or if it's through, let's say, if a car is a connected car and we can connect with that or something like that. So we're always adding more integrations, more ways to capture data, make it seamless for individuals. Kind of once they understand the platform and they're willing to share, just automate that for them. So that's a big mission for ours. The other one that's interesting is a marketplace. So another good reason to help insurers create more engagement for their apps. We've had companies reach out to us just within automotive and home as well, telling us, we let's just to give you an example, a dash cam company, right? For cars, we've been putting money into Google and Meta ads and whatnot. In the first month or 2 months, you have the honeymoon period and it's great, but it's only going up into the right, right? Similar for insurance, acquiring customers, right? Very expensive. There's and but because our platform's all about first party consent and whatnot, they can now, engage customers in the inside our apps and our plugins. Um, and, if someone has now a car that's worth over $50,000 or $40,000, maybe they want a more expensive dash cam with a rear view and a front view, or how many miles they have. Okay, this person has over 100,000 miles on their car. Maybe they only want a, they don't want to invest that much in a new dash cam. And we have more and more ecosystem players joining that can also get embedded into the insurers' apps. And so we've asked insurers first, like, is this something that's interesting about maintaining your car, maintaining your home, extended warranty, all these types of things? And the feedback that we've kept hearing is, as long as you're not putting our competitors into this marketplace, right? So we're an insurer, you're not going to put in other insurers. We're more than happy for people to take care of the asset better, to get special deals, to engage with these other companies. And it's another reason for them to engage with the app as well, right? So it only makes their apps that they already have more engaging, a reason for people to log in and have a positive interaction with them more frequently.
That's good, because that's been a constant challenge. That okay, so we develop the app, we get them to download it, and then they only use it when they have an accident, right? Or when they need to show a digital insurance card. And it's been a challenge to figure out how do we make it so that they engage with us, not just the app, so that they engage with us more often than at claim time and at renewal time.
Exactly. And just help them create more natural engagement touch points, right? And some of the independent agents that work with insurers or on their own, right? They're telling us, we'll send a happy holidays card or happy birthday card. And we're like, yeah, we know it's so awkward, but we just need to engage with them, right? So why not have positive touch points of, hey, it's been 6 months. Here's a quick survey, and we'd love to get some more information about, you told us 3 months ago that you're doing an addition to your house. Did it happen? Can we get a check-in? Can we see what it looks like so we can update your policy accordingly?
Fantastic, awesome. Elan, thank you for your time today. Very interesting stuff. Uh, when this goes live, I will tag both you and the company on LinkedIn. Yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to hang out.